Frosty Pokemon.
What's up, everyone? This is Bonfire Debates, and I am your host, Anthony Cusack. And above me, in this love trifecta we have tonight, is Barenth, the lagoon creature, straight on, and Raiden Sebastian Nika.
Raiden Sebastian Nika. That's an interesting one.
I just
I'll go with it.
I just read with a Mortal Kombat shirt, and I was just like,
Yeah.
So, Sebastian's on a high because Manchester United just beat Liverpool. Yeah.
Fucking A, man. That was a blast game.
I did not watch the game.
Like the scoreline definitely did not give the proper reflection of that game. Like it was such a dim reflection of that game. Like we should have scored at least like 6 goals.
Oh shit.
Easy. Yeah, it was epic.
No,
to say the least.
I don't think I've actually sat and watched a football match. I think the last proper football match I sat and watched was the season opener that you came over to our flat to watch like 2 seasons ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was the last full-on match I watched.
I started watching again since Solskjaer took over United.
Yeah.
Just because I never liked the playing style that fucking Jose Mourinho had.
What play style? There was no fucking play style. It was like it was like high school soccer. Like everyone just did their own fucking thing. It was just insane.
Park the bus until you get some magic opportunity, and then try.
But it was park the bus with like attacking midfielders in the defense line and defensive midfielders in your attacking 3, and like what the fuck was going on?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. But yeah, man, like since Solskjaer took over, fuck, man, football's been exciting again. And I mean, we're right up there in the table now in the Premier League as well. So
yeah, but
so far we're undefeated in like 15, 16 games.
Oh shit, that's insane.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Barent, do you have any topics that you want to bring to the proverbial table?
No. Let me think, dude. I was busy this weekend. I have no I didn't watch football because I don't like football, so there's not that. Nope. I'm blank right now.
So I had a few interesting topics. Let me consult my book of crypt notes here.
Of topics. You forget, I just got here today, like at 5:30. And I still had to unpack and everything. So I'm knackered.
I was thinking a good idea would be a fun one is always like casting people. So like obviously like a good example would be like they're obviously Hugh Jackman's not going to be Wolverine anymore, which is like a shame. But so if you had to cast that role, like who would you think would make a good Wolverine?
Well, they said once they wanted to do Tom Harding wanted to do it, so I was thinking
Tom Harding is a pretty good guy for the role. I think he can be quite vicious. The only thing with Tom Hardy is that he's a bit of a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, and Wolverine's never been that. He's always been serious.
Wolverine is angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman
it's a difficult one. You'll have to get. Hugh Jackman was so perfect for the role, so it's a difficult.
I mean, technically he wasn't. Technically, he's too tall and way too good looking.
Yeah, because Wolverine is short and angry, and
I think a lot of these actors on the Marvel side of things kind of just took these roles to the next level. Like, I've never been a fan of Doctor Strange, but seeing Benedict Cumberbatch play Doctor Strange, I'm like, what the fuck, man? You know, like these guys really make these characters shine in their own way.
Yeah.
Like Robert Downey Jr. How the fuck you replace Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, I was gonna say like Iron Man. To me, like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, and Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. There's no like, and even if we had to talk about my future ex-husband Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, if there is anyone that is ever have been born to play a role, it's Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. There is no.
But even Deadpool in one of the comics says if they ever made a live action movie of him, he wanted Ryan Reynolds to play him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah, no, that role was meant to be.
Definitely.
And he's had a bit of a shaky start too, right? Like he did the whole fucking Green Lantern thing, and that was a shame. Like that was.
Yeah, well, he also did the original Deadpool, which was just sacrilege.
Which was also a shame. Yeah, that was like, oh, what the fuck is that? It's like
but
Weapon X Wade, no mouth Wade.
Yeah. So what I heard there is he was his entire life he's been a comic book fan, and Deadpool has always been one of his favorite characters. And when he got the opportunity to play the role, the whole reason he took the role in Blade Trinity was in preparation or as like a unofficial audition for the Deadpool role. And if you look at that character archetype, it's very similar to a Deadpool type character.
Yeah, I mean Blade obviously. It's the Deadpool. Quite well, yeah.
And when that role came out, like he was apparently like vocally upset on set about what they were doing with Deadpool. But the X-Men franchise at the time was just like, well,
I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm surprised he still did it. Like,
and that Wolverine was bad.
So, but apparently that lit the fire under his ass to crowdsource and personally fund the promo that eventually leaked online. So, yeah. Okay, but anyway, so what you're gonna just go with Hollywood's casting of Wolverine, just Tom Hardy.
I didn't. I think I need a few minutes to think about it.
It's a hard one. Who do we cast this Wolverine? He's such a difficult character.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It is because I think you'll naturally want to gravitate towards like a Hugh Jackman type.
Just that you need somebody gruff, short, because Wolverine's what 5'6".
Yeah, Tom Hardy like fits that description perfectly. Like he's not extremely tall. Well, he's not like tall.
I just don't know how they're going to do him as Wolverine and do him as Wolverine and Venom. Because there is now the Spider-Man crossover is going to feature Venom now in it, so.
Oh, that was insane news. They're bringing Tobey Maguire back and Andrew Garfield for the.
I love Sony for that. Like that was like touche, well played from Sony.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy is going to be Venom in there as well, so.
It's gonna be fucking mad. I can't wait.
It's one of those projects where you're just like, it sounds too good to be true. It sounds so good, but they can fuck it up so easily.
The thing is, I'm a little more confident because I know the team at Marvel can pull it off. Like, I know.
You're more confident because you know it's not a Sony only production. Like the MCU is actively involved in it.
And I know it's not a DC only production also because they.
Yeah, I mean, let's not beat a dead horse here. All right, it's already down and out. We don't need to take the shotgun to
it. I'm waiting for the Snyder cut, so that looks cool.
The what?
The Justice League Snyder.
Oh, the Snyder cut.
Oh, the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Isn't that coming to Showmax?
Is it coming to Showmax?
Bonfire's going to be in there.
I heard so, yeah.
That would be dope because there's no way for us to get HBO Max in South Africa unless you have a VPN, which
VPN.
you should have, as we've discussed before. People should have a VPN, but for other reasons, other than watching the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. This is a side note, but Baron told me something interesting while we were waiting for you. He's not sure about this whole WhatsApp situation.
I'm not sure. I'm just not saying, is it going to make a difference?
Yeah.
Of course it has. It already has. The fact that 500 million people transferred over to Signal and Telegram within a span of a couple of weeks, and the fact that WhatsApp has now delayed the updating of their privacy terms because of the user backlash means it made an actual difference.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm super happy that it's happening. That this is exactly what needed to happen. Like, we need to tell these tech companies, like, fuck you, don't abuse us.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I've come across since you and I've talked about it, like I've spoken to a lot of people about it. I wrote an article about it as well. Please go read it. It's on Opera News.
I have read it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that other people have said to me, they're like, yeah, but Facebook already has our information, and I'm like, yeah, but the difference is the information that Facebook gathers on Facebook or on Instagram. And the way that I've explained it to my mom was, it's like if you and I are sitting on a park bench, right? And we're having a private conversation. If someone walks past and happens to hear what we're saying, that you can't help that. That's just part of being out in public. But if we're sitting in our dining room in our house, like that conversation then should not be overheard by anyone besides the people in the house. And that, to me, is the difference between harvesting your data or your private information on something like an Instagram or a Google versus on WhatsApp. It's that's a huge difference. Or like I said to Barnard earlier when I tried to convince him, I said to him, it's the difference between if you're walking naked down the road and someone sees you versus being naked in your bathroom and someone being in your bathroom spying on you.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to run down the road naked,
and then taking pictures of you and then sharing it to the neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
That's basically what it is. Right?
Yes, and not just sharing it for free; they're selling it to the highest bidder.
They're selling it, yeah. Like, hey, do you want a picture of Baron? $50. Come on, let's go.
I'd be like, I'll pay you 100 rand. I'll pay you 100 rand not to see the photo. Is that
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, man. But a lot of feedback I've gotten is like, people started reading my article, but they just don't care enough. I'm like, yeah, but that's why you should read the article. The article is not there for people who already care about their internet privacy. Those are not the people that need to be convinced. It's you need to read and understand the information that's in the article, or that we might even talk about tonight, and have spoken about in our Little Embers episode. That it's that information is there to educate you, and you don't have to change your opinion. That's fine. If you hear what we have to say and you're still like, I still don't care, that's fine. But at least you're making an informed decision.
The thing that got me was News 24 released an article about some social media expert something, and this woman was talking about, well, she made a very weird video. Apparently she's a social expert. And she was like, oh, you guys are stressing about nothing, they can't read your messages and whatever. But the point is not that we're not saying that they're going to read your messages. That's not what the issue is.
No.
The issue is not that Facebook is looking at the content of your messages. The issue is that WhatsApp is taking this information of you and the contacts and giving it to Facebook. of which is being sold to other businesses. That's the issue.
And I feel the crux of that issue is it's not your choice. It's baked into their terms of service. It's not in your WhatsApp settings that you can opt in or opt out of. Because that's another thing I had someone say to me, like, oh, but you can just opt out. I'm like, no, you can't opt out or opt in. It's terms of service. It's not an added feature.
If you're using the app, you're getting it, basically.
It's just you have to use WhatsApp in this way. You have to be okay with it, and that's the problem.
And that was my other frustration, is that these media companies are so good at trying to, I guess, make people believe that everything's okay. And the bottom line is that they're doing it for their own pockets. They're not doing it because they want you to be safe or they care about your information and your privacy. They're doing it because they know if majority of the people stop using WhatsApp, they can't use WhatsApp for business. They can't get information from Facebook. They can't get your data. So now what the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't listen to these business people talking about how everything's all good and okay. Go online, do a couple of Google searches, look at the real people that created this damn thing, and listen to what they have to say. Like, it's something else.
Yeah, it's important though. Like, and people act like it's not, but it really is. And when people go like, oh, but how do you make the difference? I was like, this is how you talk about it and you take action, and eventually the change will happen. Like Facebook will, if enough people put their foot down, Facebook will learn. Like I already read an article now to see like what the overall response was recently, and this article was saying that, oh no, it's a whole bunch of misinformation that's spread on social media, that people, they're going to read your messages and that and this thing, and I'm like, no, it's not. it's okay. Them being able to read your messages might be misinformation, because that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you should not be taking a company that has a proven track record of lying about what information they see and what information they sell, and a track record of being breached without them even knowing, and data being farmed from them without them even knowing on their own platform, that you should not take their word for it that they're not going to read your messages. And on top of that, that this is the same company that's just willingly giving you information to.
I would have asked a question. If they say they can't read your messages, why is that?
It's got end-to-end encryption.
So end-to-end encryption so if they don't have
only
the
sender and the receiver, only the sender and the receiver are able to encrypt and decrypt each other's messages.
Yeah.
Not the server or anybody else that's observing the packet. So WhatsApp can look at the packets and the meta information that's being transferred over the network, but they can't intercept it. That's the whole point of end-to-end encryption.
Yeah.
Sorry, the cat was sneezing. They just
cat
turned around
which is fine.
Which is fine. You better not be bringing Corona here.
Yeah, he's got cat COVID. Well, on a lighter note, my wife has found these very delightful videos on Facebook of people with Tourette's doing their like daily shit, and one of them is like this girl trying to bake brownies, and it is fucking hilarious, man. It is funny. Like
that dark.
Like, no, but they play into it. It's not like, oh, look at the special person. They're like, I have Tourette's and I'm gonna try and bake a brownie. Let's see what happens. Like,
okay, so I mean, if it's them doing it, then I think that's a bit better.
Yeah, they are doing it to doing it to empower themselves. They're like, look at the shit, right? And a few things. I've learned stuff about like obviously I've like what I knew about Tourette's is like fucking very minimal, right? It's a tic-based disorder, But watching these people, what you learn is it's more like their brain doesn't have a filter. So like and stuff that fucks with their brain is like super impulsive things. So a round flat surface, like we watched 3 or 4 different people with Tourette's, and every time there was a round flat whatever, like a cookie or a pizza, or like they had the brownie dough in the first girl's video. The brownie dough was laid out in like a circle, almost like a cookie, and they can't help but smash their hand into it, like touch it, full palm and everything. And the one dude, he just finished baking something, and he's like, "Ow, fuck, that's hot," but he couldn't help it. He had to put his hand on it. It was so funny.
Oh man! So it's like,
but the one thing that was like true to all of them, like obviously Tourette's has a bit of a spectrum to it, and it doesn't affect all of them the same. But the one thing that was just true to all 3 or 4 of the people we watched, a Tourette's person and eggs is just disaster. Waiting, like they cannot help but smash the fucking egg. Like to the point where the one girl who was cooking the brownies, she was like, "Oh, I can't do this." So her brother was like, "Okay, no, it's fine." She kept breaking the eggs, and the brother was like, "No, it's fine. I'll break the egg into the bowl," because every time she did it, there was like eggshells and shit into the mixture. To the point where she tried to sabotage him, like try and smack the egg out of his hand, and he was like, "No, no, fuck off. Go stand in the corner over there." Like, um, yeah.
So so it's almost like an OCD thing as well, where it's an impulse that they must do it.
Yes, yeah, that's more what it seems like. And the one guy, one of his ticks is he says Verona Kairos instead of coronavirus. Verona Kairos.
At least it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad.
Yeah, it is. It's good, man. It was something I needed on Friday because my Friday was fucking crazy.
You have no idea.
A long ass fucking week.
So did you guys watch the new Wonder Woman film?
No, I haven't.
This was shit. Didn't bother.
Ugh, come on. Guys are making this so hard.
Did you see what trailer launched today?
The Godzilla versus King Kong?
Yeah, motherfuckers. I can't wait for that.
I did not watch it, but I was like,
I did.
This is a thing that exists. I don't know. It's so weird.
Like we knew it was coming since the last King Kong movie.
Yeah, and Godzilla. They've been building this whole like connected universe between them.
Yeah. My favorite scene is where Godzilla is coming like underneath the water and he just gets up and Kong just flats him.
So I've, as weird as this is, because I grew up like loving the Power Rangers, but I never got into like kaiju movies like at all, which is even weirder because I'm like super into Pokemon and like a lot of Pokemon are kaijus.
Yeah.
But like I'm just like I never super got into it. Like I watched the Godzilla movie that came out in like what was it, like 1999 or 2000?
Oh, that one was bad.
I mean, dude, I was like 8 at the time, so I thought it was fucking awesome because I was like, it's like Jurassic Park. And it, yeah. Although that Godzilla movie is like, you know, do you know Jurassic Park 3 when they bring the dinosaurs over from the island like fucking morons, and then the T-Rex escapes and wreaks havoc on the city? I was like, oh, so they took that part of Jurassic Park and just turned it into its own movie. That was my opinion of it as a child. And ever since then, I was like, how many times do I need to see a big monster wreck a city? Like, it's the same fucking thing. Like, Peter Jackson's King Kong is 3.5 hours fucking long. And what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was an old It's a sad tale.
The Kong reboot though was epic. I was super hyped for that one. That was amazing.
The Skull Island one, where the movie predominantly takes place in Skull Island. It doesn't do the third act in the city.
In the city,
yeah. I never watched it, man. I was just like, I don't know. Like, I saw Peter Jackson's King Kong, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I get it.
You didn't watch the new King Kong?
No, I haven't. I never
watched
it,
dude. It's pretty good.
Do yourself a favor. Don't fuck around with Wonder Woman, and go watch.
I watched Wonder Woman. I watched it.
Oh man.
Skull Island was
what did you think of it? What did you think of it?
Wonder Woman was epic, man. It was alright. Yeah, it was like, it's nowhere near as good as the first one. The first one's way better. The second one has, I don't know. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, this is good. I didn't feel like this is trash. Although I don't know how great of a.
But you are a bit lenient when it comes to rating DC movies, though.
Well, it's not like I've ever said any Marvel movie is trash specifically. I was about to say that I'm quite lenient in rating movies overall, not just DC movies. Like the only film I've seen in the last, I don't know, let's say half a decade, that I can straight up say was a hot pile of shit and a huge waste of time was Suicide Squad. Like, the fuck is happening in that movie? Like, none of it makes sense.
From a comic point, yeah.
They take one of the coolest fucking premises to ever exist, and specifically within the DC universe. Such an awesome premise of literally people with nothing to lose, and sent on the actual idea behind Suicide Squad is they're supposed to be superheroes that are all, or super villains that are all like no hope of coming out of prison, and they're working off their sentences, but they're not supposed to be doing we need to save the world stuff, because that's exactly what Batman and Superman and fucking Wonder Woman are for. Like, you don't need the Suicide Squad to take out Enchantress. That's 100% the Justice League job. Not even. That's like a member of the Justice League job. You know what I mean? That's like an afternoon for the Flash. That's it. But the Suicide Squad.
You probably do it on his way while he's running.
Yeah, exactly. The Suicide Squad was, you know, in the Suicide Squad movie when they're showing what Enchantress can do, and they send her to get some like super secret document, and she like disappears and reappears with this fucking document. That's the type of mission that the Suicide Squad goes in. They go on spy missions. I almost said Renaissance. Not Renaissance missions, no. Recon missions. Shit that like governments want done, right? But superheroes aren't going to do because they're the good guys. Like when the US government wants to know what the fuck is happening in Russia, Superman's not going to do that. He's like, no, I'm Superman. I believe in people's rights and privacy, and laws exist for a reason. But Harley Quinn's going to give two shits as long as she gets 10 years off of her prison sentence. And that's what the Suicide Squad's supposed to be. And it's such a cool premise. But they fucked that up so badly. Well, let's see. Maybe James Gunn will fix it. Like, if there is a person that can fix that premise, it's him.
I mean, James Gunn has done a sterling job on the Marvel side of things. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brightburn was pretty awesome. I liked Brightburn. A lot of people didn't like Brightburn. I liked Brightburn.
No, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Like, my wife is like, it's not gory enough. I'm like, he burns out a dude's eyes. But okay.
Yeah, but Cian likes like horror, like slasher movies, so
yeah, it's true. It was good though.
So I've been I've been thinking about the Wolverine thing, other than Tom Hardy.
Yes.
I think I have like three actors that I'm thinking. One of them would probably need to dye his hair because he's blonde naturally. But Charlie Hunnam, do you guys know him?
What's he playing?
He acts a lot in this British director's fucking falls. What's his name? He made King Arthur.
Guy Ritchie?
No, he made Guy Ritchie. Yeah. He acts a lot in Guy Ritchie's films.
Okay.
He played King Arthur, or in
okay, I know which one you're talking about. Bro.
I have not watched Guy Ritchie's fucking King Arthur, and I really want to.
Oh, it's really good. It's very good. Yeah, it's a proper,
I love Guy Ritchie films,
film.
bro. Like fucking Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch.
Oh,
Snatch is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. Like, you cannot go wrong watching Snatch, bro. Snatch is fucking.
Oh, Lock, Stock.
Yeah, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is also really good, but Snatch is better. And then Rock and Roller out of the three, because it's like a pseudo trilogy. Rock and Roller is definitely the weakest one of the three of them.
He was also, in fact, he was in all those movies. Charlie Hunnam. He's never played a big role in them, but it's from the time of King Arthur time that he started becoming pretty famous.
Yeah. Who's he in Snatch? Because I can kind of picture his face, but I don't remember him in Snatch.
No, he wasn't in Snatch.
No, I think he was in Snatch.
Was he in Snatch?
He was in Snatch. He wasn't he one of Bricktop's?
Stock, I think.
No, in Snatch, wasn't he one of Bricktop's guys? He's the guy that goes into Turkish and Tommy's like little casino thing that they're running. And they go to break the shit, and then Tommy pulls out the gun on him.
Oh yeah.
And Tommy pulls out the gun on him. That we all know the gun doesn't actually work thanks to Turkish earlier.
It's the stupid ass gun that they bought.
Yeah.
It's a replica.
That's a different
I'm thinking him.
Oh yeah, that's a different scene.
Yeah, okay, I can see that guy play.
I mean, he's blonde naturally, but if he dyed his hair, or maybe we just have a blonde Wolverine. Why not? 2021. Who knows?
His son is blonde. I think.
I mean, and the amount of times Hugh Jackman wore a wig as well, it's well known, well documented.
Yeah.
So
the other guy that I was thinking of, surprisingly, I think Keanu Reeves might actually be able to do a Wolverine.
He was saying
Reeves is Wolverine. Like, maybe if Wolverine started smoking weed, sure.
You see, Keanu Reeves is too chill for Wolverine. Wolverine is when Deadpool greets him, he literally goes, the first word he goes, "Fuck off, Wade."
I mean, Keanu Reeves could do it. Like, have you seen his acting in Cyberpunk?
Dude, no. I have not played Cyberpunk yet. I really want to.
He's on point. He's on point. He's pretty out. He makes Johnny Silverhand actually lovable in a weird way.
I have no graphics card. My graphics card died.
What happened?
We had a bit of a dust storm here where we stay, and it just killed my graphics card. And then I was fortunate enough to have my stepfather gift me a Vega 56 graphics card. But when I put that into my PC, it was such a mission to install the drivers. When I eventually got the drivers installed, if I run any video game, it crashes. Like, even The Witcher, like I put on The Witcher 3 on like medium settings, and with my 1060 I can play Witcher 3 in ultra settings in 4K. And then it would just like, there'd be blocks of black pop up, and that's just walking through like a field. And then the moment I went into a combat situation, the game just kicked me out. And then I tried something.
Those Vega cards have never been good for games.
And then I tried.
RX cards are way better.
I tried playing Dirt 4, And in the menus, it was fine. But the moment I went into a race, the game would just kick me out. But the weirdest thing that the card does is when the PC resets, like it goes off and back on, the drivers are just gone. It's like the card doesn't exist. It goes back to the VGA Intel drivers of my CPU. But now I don't know if it's the card that my stepfather gave me, because it was a mining card, so it could be the card that's
fucked. It's fucked. It's all life mining.
Or it could be my motherboard.
GPU.
It could be my motherboard as well, because 2 of my RAM slots just stopped working. So I went from 16 gigs of RAM to 8 gigs of RAM. Because the dust that flew into here is like ultra fine black sand dust, and that stuff can claim a motherboard easily.
And then you can fuck that shit up.
Yeah, and it's like really hard to clean out of grooves and slots and stuff. So I don't know. But I might go to my brother's place, because he has a Vega 56 card, and he says it acts a bit hanky, but it works. So I want to just put in my card into his PC and see if it fucks out like it does here. And if it does, then okay, I know it's the card. If not, then But then I don't know what the fuck to do, because like there's no like decent affordable graphics cards. Like the pandemic, I don't know if you've noticed, it's been harsh on production lines. Things aren't really being made.
The ones that are expensive as shit.
I mean, you can get a 2080
the 3060
for like.
card is supposed to be super cheap, but they're not.
Yeah, but the 3080 was also supposed to be super cheap. Like rand to dollar, 3080 is supposed to cost like 12 grand, and I defy you to find me a 3080 graphics card under 30. Like I saw on a website the other day, they had one for 18,000, which I was like, that's better. But it was like some brand I've never heard of.
Age-old question. Rand to fucking dollar conversions. $500 console comes in this country and is sold for what again? 13 grand?
12 grand for a PS5. 11,999.
I was lucky to get mine. Fuck.
So, did you get your PS5, Seb?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get the one with the disc?
On launch. On launch day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw you had an unboxing video on your channel, which everyone should go and check out. All 12 of you.
12 of you. We have 12 now?
No, we have 33. We have 33 subscribers, but I'm pretty sure half of them is just my mom. Put down in the comments if you're not my mom. Just be like, not your mom.
I don't know.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Speaking of which,
maybe I should start a channel as well. A WoW channel, another one.
Wow.
Better than fucking Asmund Gold.
Is the WoW channel just you installing Office and Kaspersky for people?
No, that
joke. That is such a specific joke to our job. It's not even.
Yeah. It was like, what? No.
That joke is like specifically for our day job. It's not even, our entire audience. Like, what the fuck are they on about? Yeah. So I did want to bring up something. Although I might do an episode of Little Embers that'll air before this does. But I went and I changed the Patreon tiers to not include a week early access to the content, because with load shedding and our schedules and stuff, it's really hard to get the videos up a week earlier onto Patreon. Like, it's not always possible. It's too much of a crunch.
Okay.
Because like last week with load shedding, and if like one of us is just sick or whatever and we can't do it, then there's a gap in the upload.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
We are not doing a week early, but you can get your name on our videos. We'll have a list for people. If you support us on Patreon, which is not necessary but very much appreciated, you can have the $1 tier, which is pretty much, it's cheaper than a 2-liter Coke, because 2-liter Cokes are fuck expensive now. I don't know what happened.
No. Yeah, like what the fuck?
So
they're trying to get us off sugar, apparently.
No, it's dude, a fucking 2-liter Coke Zero is 21 rand. Just suck a dick for 21 rand. No.
That's the intro.
Anyway, so for less than a 2-liter Coke Zero, you can support us on Patreon, and it's always very much appreciated. For a little bit more, we will have your name at the end of any content that Bonfire Debates creates, including my short stories and articles that I would write. And if you want a verbal shout out, that is also a possibility for our Patreon supporters for a little bit extra. Not too much. So yeah, check it out. And if you guys have any ideas what you would like to see on the Patreon page or even on this YouTube channel, let us know in the comments. And also, we would like to see, and we would also like to see at least 15 likes on this video. Let's see if we can reach 15 likes on this video. If not, Baron's mom will come chop his arm off. I would say his sister, but he went and buried her somewhere in the middle of South Africa this weekend. Just dropped her off and left her there.
Fucking Bella.
Watch sex thing at Baron's house tomorrow morning. And we have confession on video. Did you commit to the murder?
My mother getting arrested just randomly. Like, are you? Where's your son? Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so I think to close off tonight's video, I think we should maybe have a chat about your favorite lesser known comic book character. So like fucking everybody knows Harley Quinn, everybody knows Batman, everybody knows Superman, everybody knows Iron Man and Spider-Man, right? But like if you had like one comic book character that you're like, this is my favorite comic book character that like only like people that actually buy comic books and read them every month or week, depending on which comic book you read, come out. Like this is one of my favorite characters. Who would you be? Who would that character be and why?
Mine is Lobo any day of the week.
Who is Lobo? Tell us who the fuck Lobo is.
Lobo is the last of his species by genocide. He killed them when
also, which production house does he come from? DC, Marvel?
DC.
All right.
He's a DC baby. I think he started off as Dark Horse.
Are we only talking about American comics, or can we talk in general?
No, anything, bro. Like in general, like
even manga.
Yeah, manga is fun.
Well, yeah, sure. I don't have a thing against manga. You might have to just explain a bit more then.
Okay, yeah. But sure. I was talking about Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo.
Okay, so he's the last of his species. He murdered the rest of his species as a high school project. He implanted a metal playing chip in his brain. He's a bounty hunter for life, and he's mortal. He can't die, and he's as strong as true Superman. In fact, he fights Superman on a regular basis. The only difference is one drop of blood from him can generate a new body. And only heaven or hell wants him because he once went to heaven, trashed it, was sent to hell, took it over, and was thrown out. He's like
He's like an overachieving Hitler.
Man, put him on drugs and metal music, and just put him over top. Then there's Lobo.
All right.
Go check him out sometimes. He's pretty psychotic.
Yeah, Lobo is a cool character. I like Lobo. So I think for anyone that wants to read comics, obviously you can't go to the shops, and in South Africa there's not too many brick and mortar comic book shops. So it's a little difficult. But if you download Comixology on your iOS or Android device, you can read free comic books, and you can also buy and support Disney and Marvel directly, and keep the comic books on the cloud, and you can read them from your phone, your iPad, wherever. If when you're interested, we're not sponsored. We would love to be sponsored, Amazon, please. Thank you. Sebs, what about you?
Yeah, man. From the comic book side, I guess, like, I don't follow too much of these lesser known characters, so for me, it's not a big deal. Spider-Man is my go-to guy, and that's about it. I don't give a fuck about anyone else. On the manga side, though, I would have to say Lee from Naruto.
Okay.
I think Naruto is quite popular for you, like if you've never read the comics.
Yeah, the thing is, Lee dropped out in the Boruto series, as far as I read. He's basically like very sidelined now.
That's okay. I'm talking about just the Naruto.
No, he was a legit character. I liked him myself.
So, like, what's your shtick?
Yeah. So the cool thing about Lee is that in a world where you have people that are fucking, got like superpowers and techniques and ninjutsu and stuff, yeah, he's just like a normal fucking human. And his thing is that he works super hard, and he's able to fucking beat people up.
So he's like the Batman of that universe.
Not only that, he's based a lot of Bruce Lee and of Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Yeah. He does drunken fist fighting. He uses a lot of Bruce Lee's combat style. So he's a world where they use like special abilities like breathe fire or summon sand or stuff. He's hand-to-hand combat, but that's the only thing he does, and he does it damn well.
Okay.
Well, he's probably the best.
So like
hand-to-hand.
Yeah, so he's like the Bruce Wayne of the Naruto universe.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Except he doesn't use gadgets. He just punches people.
Superpowers or whatever, yeah.
All right.
I mean, these gadgets will be like the shuriken, yeah?
Just
fucking throwing those things out the kunais. Yeah.
All right. That's pretty dope. Does he have like his own like set of like side manga or anime series people can get into, or?
No. There was the Springtime of Lee, but it was more like a comic joke thing that they ran.
Yeah, there's not like his own mini saga, but they do a very good job of explaining his story in the actual series itself. So by the time you get to the end of Naruto Shippuden, you have a really good understanding of who he is.
Okay. All right.
It's about
So for me, I'm gonna take it back to DC Comics. Sorry, Marvel fans. But I'd say besides Batman, obviously being my favorite character, I think John Constantine is someone that I believe deserves a shout out. Like his character.
But he's not that unknown. He's pretty known now.
All right, so what I mean by unknown, I'm not talking about like if comic book fans are sitting and talking about characters, right? I'm talking about my sister watches the Marvel movies. She knows who Mantis is, and that's also a lesser known character. But I don't think she would know who Constantine is, or Lobo is, or Zatanna for that matter. You know what I mean? That's the type of character I'm talking about. So like if you're like us that grew up watching Justice League Ultimate and Batman the Animated Series and the X-Men, and we grew up reading comic books, and we grew up in that form of entertainment, or that circle of nerdom, or whatever the fuck. We know who Zatanna is, and to anyone that reads any level of DC comic books, she's a well-known character, and John Constantine is a very well-known character.
Yep.
In the DC universe, but that's for people that take part in it. I'm talking about, like, if you're talking about it to the guy who loves comic book movies, but that's it. Like, he watches all the Marvel movies and he loves it and is interested in it, and maybe wants to take it that next step and find out about someone else, something new in that era. Because we've just gone.
They never went further with the Constantine TV series.
Yeah, man, that was a good series as well. The problem I think the Constantine TV series had, and if you can, I don't know if it's available anywhere. I need to go look, but I think it's on DC Online if you have a VPN, which you should have. The Constantine TV series is on there. But I think the biggest problem they had with the Constantine TV series was it was too similar to Supernatural in a time frame where Supernatural was at the height of its popularity. Like, we're talking about season 4, 5, and 6 of Supernatural timeline, which was arguably the best period of Supernatural. And that's when Constantine came out, and it was very much a similar concept.
And not as good.
Yeah, no, because nothing is as good as season fucking 7 of Supernatural. I'm sorry, that show is insane.
Yeah.
They brought it back in season 9? I think they had another, like, that level of storytelling.
Season 9 was amazing, man. Season 9 was.
What was season 7 about again? Remind me.
Season 7 was the end of the apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
So season 5 and 6. 5 was the end of their dad saga, where they find out what the fuck happened to him. Season 5, I think, is the one where Sam is in hell at that stage, right?
Yeah.
Season 6 is where the seals are starting to break.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was Dean that was in hell in season 5. And season 6 is the actual seals are breaking, and it's the actual apocalypse. And then 7 is the ending, like the aftermath of that. And then season 9, is that the season 9 finale? Is that the one where that's the one where they try and cure Crowley, right?
Yeah.
Yo, that's scene, after the.
Oh my god, dude, that scene brought me to tears.
With death as well.
Yes.
I just want to be loved.
Oh, it was insane. And then even Crowley was like, "What the fuck did I just say?" Oh,
Fergus.
So good.
Yeah, that was by far for me my most favorite season. And in fact, that the way it ended and how it ended, I felt like it just should have ended.
Yeah, man. After that, it just got. I have not watched after the season with the darkness.
I've watched all of it now.
I didn't like
all 15 seasons.
Yeah, they just did the finale like a week or two ago. The finale.
Yeah.
And I want to make it clear, I didn't stop watching Supernatural because I was like, oh, this is getting ridiculous now. It's just like, I can't keep up. And it's getting so, like, the concept of everything is just so out there. It's not like, I don't know. It's still good. It's still, I would say, I think what Supernatural figured out, like, around about season 10, is there's a set formula they can do and just interchange shit. Because they have such a long lineage of characters and concepts that they can literally just swap one thing out for another and keep the same framework, and it just will work infinitely. But
I have to say the season finale was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I want to finish it. I want to finish Supernatural. I want to get through season. But is it available anywhere, like, to watch, like Showmax or Netflix or whatever?
Maybe one day.
No, not yet.
Supernatural.
I started watching it the last season, not so legitly.
Yeah.
Well, I live in SA. We don't have HBO.
Yeah.
Oh, where was it on? Was it HBO?
CW.
It's on
CW, yeah.
It was a CW show. Yeah. Talking about shows, Sienna recently restarted watching Superstore. And as a retail employee, that show is just amazing. It is so good. Have you watched Superstore, Sebs?
No, what is it about?
So it's about like a so in South Africa we don't really have stores like that, but like picture like if Pick and Pay and Macro kind of merged. So like you had the macro, the like macro gardening and the way that they like display their tools and their TVs and stuff, right? But inside that same store is like a Pick and Pay type thing as well. So I know Macro sells cereals and shit, but like their groceries are not great. Like Macro groceries are few and far between or whatever. That's why I said like proper full on Pick and Pay type groceries, and then also like big box items like TVs and lawnmowers and tools and shit like a Macro has. So that type of store, and it's just the retail workers like day to day lives, what they deal with as retail workers. So like it's all shit like, oh, corporate's gonna come and do a visit, so we have to all stay 3 hours after work and put up these stupid fucking signs because the manager only saw the email like half an hour before closing and stupid shit like that. But if you're a retail worker, it hits it hits real close to home. Like you get a lot of the shit. But what makes the show so good is like in between shots, like in between the storyline parts of an episode, it has like these in between shots of customers doing random shit. Like they'll have a Halloween display and one of them will be a cauldron and it will be a dude walking past with like a slush puppy and he'll look at the cauldron and throw the slush puppy in there like it's a bin and it's clearly not a fucking bin. Or like the one transitioning shot is people queuing at like a coffee station and the guy's drinking out of the milk canister and then puts it down and fucks off. And I was saying to Sian, like, I know they film these things to be jokes, but people do that type of shit. They really, really do that type of shit.
Crazy people.
Although if you want like a real true to life what a retail worker goes through type experience, Rusted on YouTube fucking nails it. Like their stuff is funny as shit, but it's like they took the stories that happens in that store from actual retail workers on their like Facebook page. They were like, so tell us like crazy shit that happens to you as a retail worker. And then they work those little stories into actual episodes. I think it's only 2 seasons of it and it's like really short and like very amateurly shot, but it's amazing. Really, really amazing. Rusted on is awesome. And Superstore's pretty good as well. But for those that didn't know, this was Bonfire Debates. I have Raiden above me doing do the Raiden noise. Okay, I can't remember.
I don't know noise.
The noise he does when he does the fucking when he does that like diving punch thing.
I can just remember
Yeah, it's something this close to that.
Doesn't he do like
yeah, something like that?
Shit? Does he do that? Yeah. I think he does that.
Yeah, it's close. It's close. Your next intro, you can do it for us, all right?
Okay, I'll practice.
And then we have the Lagoon Creature Bar and Straddle, who's apparently ready for bed. I feel like this just went from a YouTube video to like a chat debate video. I've been your host, Anthony Cusack, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Let's suck a dick for 21 minutes.